Hello, I'm Lara Kulcharsan and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar was killed in an Israeli drone attack in a bombed building in Rafah. Tel Aviv has Sinwar's DNA and dental records from his years in Israeli prisons, confirming his identity. And Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu describes Sinwar's death as the beginning of the end, but added Israel must continue to fight. Sinwar was an instrumental player who molded Hamas into a significant fighting force that carried out the biggest defeat Israel has suffered since 1948. Footage of Sinwar's last moments show him wearing a Palestinian headscarf, the keffiyeh, and throwing a piece of wood at the drone filming him. Sinwar was not killed in a planned special operation, but in a chance encounter with Israeli forces in southern Gaza.
The Palestinian leadership represents the Palestinian people, and this is a very dangerous situation and a great loss. And this, in reality, affects the role of the Palestinian leadership. This is a very serious situation and will affect the people greatly. This is a great loss.
This is a resistance that doesn't disappear when men disappear. The assassination of Sinwar will not lead to the end of the resistance or to a compromise or surrender and raising the white flag.
I see that this will not stop the war on Gaza unless the Israeli hostages are returned to their families. That will be a sufficient reason to stop the war. But Sinwar's assassination will not impact stopping the war on Gaza.
This moment gives us an opportunity to finally end the war in Gaza. And it must end such that Israel is secure, the hostages are released, the suffering in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination.
Let me just say on Sinwar and what's been reported at the minute, I'm not going to say it, but you know, it's the same sentiment as when people say Netanyahu has to go. Once he goes, everything will be okay, everything will be different. No, it won't. No, it won't. Because let's not pretend. Once you switch it up, you get Netanyahu out, let's not pretend there's not more psychopaths chomping at the bit to continue this genocide, to continue an apartheid, to continue dehumanizing Arabs and Muslims, because lest we forget, they've been doing it for 76 years.
Let's take a look at the person described as the man Israel often regrets releasing.
Sinwar was born in Khan Yunis refugee camp in southern Gaza in 1962. His parents were forcibly displaced by Israel from their home in Ashkelon during the 1948 Nakba. Sinwar was the founder of Hamas's internal security bodies and was jailed by Israel for 23 years over his alleged role in prosecuting Palestinians suspected of collaborating with the Israeli army. Whilst he was in jail, Sinwar learned Hebrew and frequently read Israeli newspapers, which helped him understand Israeli affairs and domestic politics. He was often referred to as the man Israel regrets releasing, after his release in a prisoner exchange deal in 2011, in exchange for Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit, who was captured by Hamas. Following his release, Sinwar quickly rose through Hamas's leadership ranks. In 2012, he was elected to Hamas's political bureau and was tasked with coordinating with the Qassam brigades in Gaza. He was known to be a stern, unwavering individual who before the war would occasionally appear in public and talk at rallies and press conferences in Gaza. He was heavily involved both politically and militarily in Hamas's efforts in its 7-week war with Israel in 2014. Months after that war, the US added Sinwar to a list labeling him a specially designated global terrorist. In 2017, he became the head of Hamas in Gaza, a role he would hold up until this year.
In the wake of Sinwar's death, world leaders have urged Israel to seek an end to the war. But for Palestinians living in Gaza, hunger, desperation, homelessness and helplessness will only end when Israeli guns fall silent and Tel Aviv ends its crippling siege. Despite Sunday's US ultimatum to Israel to increase aid to Gaza or face military cuts, only a trickle of aid trucks have entered into territory, far below the numbers required. Between Wednesday and Friday morning, Israel allowed just 50 trucks to cross into Gaza, but aid agencies were only allowed to collect 30. Since the start of the conflict, aid agencies have warned of severe shortages. And Palestinians have used their social media accounts to show the world the horrors they experience in their daily lives.
But what about the young child? The young child, they have illnesses like stomach or liver illnesses. From the lack of nutrition, there is no nutrition. Adults tell you a packet of biscuits will do. What do you mean a packet of biscuits for a child that is hungry for nutrition? I hope people can see these people with eyes of mercy. In God's name, enough, enough.
As you know, in today's digital age, not everything is as it seems. Online videos look real, but are they? In early 2023, these videos of people expressing support for Burkina Faso's new military junta went viral.
Hello to the African people, and particularly to the Burkina people.
We are Americans from Africa, and we are Pan-Africanist.
We appeal to the solidarity of the African people and the people of Burkina Faso.
Something seems off about them, right? First up, people from Burkina Faso are not called Burkina, they're called the Burkinabe. The videos are fake, created using AI by a London-based startup, Synthesia. The company's tech is created for businesses to be used for marketing and presentations. There are many characters to choose from, varying in gender, age, ethnicity, and style. These avatars can be placed in any setting and read scripts in more than 120 languages and accents. And for as little as about $30 a month, anyone can create lifelike presenter-led videos, which means the tech can easily be exploited to create misleading or harmful content. The tech was misused in the Burkina Faso's junta propaganda videos, violating the company's terms of use. According to a recent investigation by The Guardian, models whose likenesses were used in these AI videos said they felt violated. And many didn't even know about the videos until they were contacted by the paper. Synthesia says it banned the accounts responsible for the 2023 videos and has since strengthened its content moderation by hiring more moderators and improving its detection systems. Despite the risks, an increasing number of presenters, models, actors, and content creators are going high-tech to connect with global audiences. But online scammers are also stepping up their game, using generative AI to create messages in multiple languages and deepfakes to fool victims with fake photos and videos. They're also draining cryptocurrency wallets, altering transaction records to trick people into sending funds to the wrong place, and even compromising smart contracts to steal crypto. Some have even bought Elon Musk's Starlink satellite systems to boost their scams. This week, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime issued a detailed report, warning about the fast-growing criminal ecosystem in Southeast Asia. For years, China-linked criminals have trafficked people into huge compounds in Southeast Asia to run these scams, holding them captive and beating them if they refuse. These operations are now spreading across the Middle East, Eastern Europe, Latin America, and West Africa. And in the digital world, anyone is vulnerable and a potential target. To South Korea now, where yet another case of fans crossing the line with their favorite celebrities. You know, Korean fans often feel a strong sense of ownership over pop singers or idols just because they support them by buying their merch and streaming their music. And entertainment companies want idols to be adored by fans, but never getting romantically involved with anyone. If an idol is caught dating, it's a scandal that can end their career. How can an idol even think about dating in real life when their fans love them so much? Well, K-pop fans can be pretty intense. The latest to get caught in this whirlwind is K-pop band Riize's member Seunghan. After a long break and then a comeback, the 21-year-old was suddenly shown the door for good. And many Breeze, that's their fandom name, especially international ones, are furious. They're calling for a boycott of the band's albums until their label, SM Entertainment, decides to take action. Let's break down what happened and how it all went down.
So I just found out about the K-pop star that's getting death threats and canceled because people found out that he had a life. So this is Seunghan, and he was in a group called Riize until he was kicked out for 10 months because it was exposed that he had a girlfriend. which is not worse than being a racist. If we find out that you're not single, you are getting fired. That's the rule, apparently. After the 10 months, the owner of the group were like, hey, Seunghan, come back to the group. And then all the fans in Korea were like, how can he come back if he's dead?
I'm in front of the SM building right now, and there's layers of flowers for funerals. Let me show you. And it says Riize is 6, and they don't want Seunghan back at all costs.
Besides cyberbullying, another major issue in K-pop culture is obsessive superfans, also known as stans. Stans follow idols everywhere, invading their privacy. Some even book rooms in the same hotels or try to take explicit photos of them. It may sound extreme, but this behavior is common in the K-pop world. And sadly, some celebrities have even taken their own lives because of bullying. International fans are outraged by the abuse and find it completely unacceptable.
From, I think, the second or third generation, I had a Big Bang, 2PM, the beginning of BTS, 21, and at some point, it got so mentally draining that it was making me depressed. Like, I loved these idols, I loved their songs, and then little by little, like, my favorites just started unaliving themselves. And even now, I think of all of these idols, all of these members who, in my opinion, lost their life to bullying, the societal bullying that they had to go through. It was just too much for me to handle, and I said, K-pop, bye-bye. I kept thinking to myself, dang, if they lived here, or basically anywhere else, they would still be alive. Again, I'm not familiar with Riize, so I don't know his name by heart. Okay, but I do know that having a girlfriend, a picture of you with like your ex-girlfriend kissing or whatever, and you smoking a cigarette or whatever, is literally not the end of the world. And so for these fans to be out here giving him funeral flowers, dancing in front of these funeral flowers and posting it is so disgusting. This is literally what they do to break these idols down to the point where these idols can't take it anymore.
Ouch! Things are brutal in the K-pop world. And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.